to episode 13 of the Think Like a Marketer show, where we interview marketers, innovators, and entrepreneurs and find out exactly what makes them tick. Today is a special topic for me. For one, because I'm in the business of where words really matter. If you think about how important the language is, how language separates people and how language brings people together. I mean, you think about President Kennedy's speech where he said, "Ask not what you can do for your country, but what you can do for your country." Or you think of Mandela's speeches or Abraham Lincoln's. It was words, and words are powerful. They can cause people to move mountains, build churches like the Duomo for over 100 years, or it can cause people to be very upset like you see today with our current administration. So I said, well, I need to find somebody who specializes in working with words, because I had a public school education, so minor in terrible English. So I have a special guest today. Her name is Sharon Lee Zapata. She has a bitchy business briefs blog that she does. We're on life lessons, smart ass quotes, and cocktails on Friday. I want to introduce everyone to Miss Sharon Lee Zapata. Sharon, how are you?
Hi there. Good morning. Happy Wednesday.
I know, right?
Thank you for having me. Really, thank you for having me.
Well, hey, thanks for coming on. And, it's Wednesday mornings are always hard for most people because it's like the middle of the week. You're already thinking about a happy hour, and Friday's just around the corner.
Wednesday's the new Friday for some people.
Yeah, right. Most people are working from home now. It's the new thing.
Oh, that's true.
So I want to jump right in because the show is it just goes by so fast. We got so much stuff that I want to, jump into. We had a little technical difficulty early on. So we literally you sat down with your coffee and we pushed the button. That's how we roll.
I don't know what to expect. So I have to think on my feet.
And you asked me, said, "Can I cuss?" And I'm like, "Hey, look, you got to be who you are." So, being a creative entrepreneur, because I think that's how you define yourself. And when you work with language, you have to learn to be creative with words and use the right words in the right place in the right order, like music.
Absolutely, just like music. When you're gonna love this, and I have a posting or a little index card because I was in San Antonio, and this is kind of what I opened or closed with. I can't remember, but writing and words, you're gonna love this. But writing and writing with the right words actually it demonstrates your dexterity for the verbal language. Like you said, it can move mountains and it can inspire, it can crush. So words are really powerful. I think we're more aware of it now. I don't know.
Right. Well, I want to give you the opportunity because you have so much stuff and highlighting things that brought you to become, the writer you are, writing for medium.com, Latina bloggers, Houston bloggers, and all that stuff. So give me a little background of, what took you from, just the Sharon Lee that nobody knew to the person that's writing all this stuff. Like what made you decide to put everything in words? And what are you on, book 9? Is that what you're on?
No, but that's the goal is book 9. This will be book 4 if you include an ebook. I actually have a free ebook. It's been free for a long time, and it'll probably stay free, but it's getting revamped and it'll be like a $2 downloadable on Kindle, but that's coming. So yeah, book number 4 is coming in September, early September, Middle Finger Happiness, which, I was so passionate about. I actually went and got, the tattoo on here. And you want to hear a funny story is yesterday I was running errands. I had to go to the bank and make a credit union deposit. Actually, it was a check. So I'm sitting there and the teller behind the counter there, she's like, "Oh, I ordered your book. I really, really love it." I said, "Oh, thank you." And so I signed a bookmarker, gave it to her. And I said, "Hey, the next book is this." And she's like, You didn't tattoo. That's not coming off. I'm like, no, it's not coming off, But Middle Finger Happiness I'm excited because that book is going to really tell more about who I am, and it's going to help a lot of people. Something that I learned in San Antonio, so many people are concerned about what others think. We're still in that stage. I think we're always going to be there.
Right.
And one of the reasons I said this, I think that we're concerned is from the time we're toddlers, we're asked a question. You know, are you full? Do you want some more? Do you want another cookie? Did you break that? Come here. Are you done? I mean, so we're always being questioned as up until adulthood. So we even question ourselves. And so I think that kind of indirectly stops us from worrying about what other people think about us as individuals.
Right. You know, if you could pull out the, you know, the theme of the book, what would be the theme of the book? Like something useful that people could apply to their life now.
Well, the book that I have now, the Little Book of Startup Inspiration, 20 Lessons Learned the Hard Way, damn it, from the most outrageous year of my entrepreneurial life. Do I have a book with me? I'm going to have to go grab one. This is it. And I'm such a short person in writing. That's why, yeah, I am tiny. But when I put the Bitchy Business briefs, it's briefs. And so right here on, you can see it.
I can see it. Yes.
Okay, the bookmarker. And the purpose of this book is to help you kick ass by believing in yourself and take action on your own startup. Startup, anything you want to do or start up, but you've been dragging your ass. And it could be anything like, hey, I'm going to clean my closet. Hey, I'm going to eat cleaner. Hey, I'm going to quit smoking. Or you know what, I am going to start that business. Or I'm going to revamp what I currently have. So startup, not like an angel, you're pitching to an angel investor. You're kind of like you're starting up. And so we're constantly starting up something. Actually, from the time our feet hit the floor to the time we go to bed, we are starting something up.
Right. You know, it's an excellent point. You know, being in the business I'm in, you know, getting people to actually execute, you know, that things are created twice, once in the mind and once in the real world. But most people just create it in the mind, and that satisfies their need, and they move on to the next salacious idea, and they dream it up in their mind all the way through. And then when it comes time to execute, they don't.
They don't.
So this is what your book's really kind of.
That's what it is. It's about
execution.
Getting to the execution. And so when I told, you know, everybody last year, right before Harvey, well, I started writing this book in June after I came back from Austin from a conference. And I told everybody, yeah, I'm going to write a book. And here I am, like, you know, it's January and the book's still not done. So I was like, you know, that's bullshit. If I said I'm going to do something, it's like 99.9%. I'm going to just say it. I met a lady in San Antonio who came up to me and she said, hey, I'm a writer, but I don't write. I'm like, then you're not a writer because you don't write.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And she looked at me and she's like, oh my God, you know, I said, what happened? Who stifled that? Who crushed it? And she told me her story. I told her my story because I had a big gap, and that's coming out in Middle Finger Happiness, why I didn't write. And so we both realized we, again, worry what other people think about us. And so that stopped us. So going forward, like you said, you got to take action. So I have a question for you. What made you pick the 3 words that, what was the title of this? The 3 words that will get you what you want.
Well, I think everybody would like to, because everybody loves shortcuts, and that sounds like a shortcut, but it's not. You know, it's like, you know, knowing human nature, right? That's what I specialize in. And being in marketing, you specialize really in understanding the human. You know, Robert Cialdini talked about in Influencer, the book he wrote. He talked this one. He tells this one story about some university did a study on this turkey, right? This turkey's mortal enemy is a bobcat, right? As soon as a turkey sees a bobcat, it freaks out. Right. So they had this live turkey and they had a stuffed bobcat and they put it in the cage. And of course, the turkey just went crazy. Right.
Oh, okay.
But the turkey also instinctually, when they have chicks and the chick makes the chirp, 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 that sound that they make when they're little. Yes. And they instinctually want to comfort them and put them under their wing. Right. So they had the idea, well, let's see if instincts can overpower other instincts. Is there one more powerful than the other? So what they did is they took that bobcat, put it in the cage, making the sound, the chirp, chirp, and guess what the turkey did?
What did it do?
It put it under its wing.
The bobcat?
Yes, because it's a maternal instinct overpowered its instinct of survival, right?
Right.
So so understanding if humans have those same things because that makes no sense to you, right? It makes no sense why a turkey would comfort a bobcat that's going to eat it. And human beings have those same triggers, right? And some of those triggers are in language. It's the words. They read the words, that it resonates with them, and they say, "Oh, I want to know more about that." And so to answer your question, it was I know human beings are looking for shortcuts because we all start valuing our time. We value our time so much that we're looking for a shortcut. The only problem with the shortcuts is they're really not shortcuts.
There are no shortcuts. And people are watching more what you do versus what you say. And of course, that's been around a long time. So, you know, I want, like, again, if I say like that water cleanse that I was on, if you followed me on that little journey, it was like, I was going to do this water cleanse, and like I made it to day 5, and it was really a good experience. It's not for everybody, but if I say I'm going to do it, I thought, well, I got to put a video every day so people will say, oh, she's really just drinking water. So for me as a writer, believe it or not, I write about 1,000 words a day. Not everything gets put on social media. I have friends and I have family that's all they see is Facebook. So they don't know the other stuff. Slowly but surely they're finding out how weird I am and what I really do, because some of the writing that's on Medium is not the same that's on my blog. It's a little darker. Something else that I've learned with words, you will attract your tribe, and you're going to, is it distract or unattract other people? But here's the cool thing. When you know you have this group of people that like they dig what you're doing and they like it and they're learning and it's influencing them, it's the other people who like, I really don't like what she's doing, but they still take a peekaboo because knowing it's not for them, they want it to be for them. Does that make sense?
No, yeah, of course. Oh, yeah.
It's like and I just read an article on that. One of my favorite writers is James Altucher, Choose Yourself, and he was saying that if you take something away, or you're like, oh, we're over here with Randall and Sharon, and we're talking about bobcats and turkeys, and someone's not interested, but a little part of them is interested.
Right.
So they're still a little attracted. So,
well, yeah. I mean, you know, writers, right? Journalists, they specialize in these words. I mean, that's why they call them, clickbait, right? Because they know that you just can't not click on, check out what Donald Trump. I mean, if you just put Donald Trump did something, anything negative, people are going to click on it because just people have this visceral reason.
It's called sensationalism. Sensationalism sells. Oh yeah. Well, it sells like you wouldn't believe. So let me give your audience the 3 words real quick, because somebody's like, well, she get to that point. What's those 3 words? So it was perceive, understand, and action. So when I say perceive, you have to really know what you want, not kind of, sort of. You have to know exactly what you want and what you don't want. Most of us know what we don't want. If I told everybody, get out a Post-it note and write 5 things you don't want, boom, 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 boom. Write things you don't want. People start like, well, it's the opposite. And so for anybody who's considering writing, one of the things that I do every day is I number 1 through 10, and I write down 10 different titles, 10 different ideas, whether they suck, whether they're great. And I have done that for 30 days. Do the math. I have so many titles. I'm going to have to take pictures. As a matter of fact, in the back of Middle Finger Happiness, one of the last chapters is called Behind the Scenes with Sharon. And they're just going to be all the pictures Sharpie, because I write with a Sharpie. And it's going to be stuff that you say, wow, this is how it starts. I literally still write, and then I type or I bang on the keyboard. But if you do that, it's amazing what it'll do for your brain, whether you're in sales and marketing, whether you're a stay-at-home mom, whether you're a school teacher, because we tend to use the same words every day.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
and so
oh man, writing things down. You run in a business. You always have people coming to you wanting you to solve their problems, and you're like, hold on a minute, I hired you to solve that problem, not me. So to just being a business owner, you like when people come because you feel valued, like people are asking you for advice. But as you get more and more employees, you have no time. So I use something that I learned at Wharton Business School. Although I did not go there, I learned it from some professors there.
You did the shortcut.
Yeah, I did the shortcut. Like, hey, it's the PCAN, PCAN, right? So if someone comes to you, right, and they want you to solve their problems, this is what you do. You say, hey, before you ever come to me and ask me what I think of something, write down the problem, write down what you think the cause of the problem is, Write down what you think the answer or the solution to the problem, and then the net benefit for everybody involved. And then when you're done with that, then you can come and ask me, right? What people will find, because like you said, when you pull it out of your brain and you put it on paper, you're able to now see it in a different perspective.
Oh, absolutely.
And what they see sometimes is that they were the cause of the problem, and they shouldn't have come to the boss and said, "Hey, what's the problem here?" Because I will know really quickly. But
it's
using that, anyone who wants to move up the ranks and they're working with a boss, if they use that technique, that boss will always love them, because what it does is when they come in, you're able to quickly say, "Hey, boss, here's a problem that I found, but and here's what I think the cause is. Here's what I recommend that we do to solve it, and here's how it benefits everybody. What do you think?"
Right, and that's a game changer. And there's really so many few game changers. You know, as getting where I'm at now, I have to pick and choose where I go and spend my time just like you do. And so when you walk into a room, we talk about it. I look for the game changer. I have to. You have to. In fact, I look for a bigger game changer, and I'm actually sometimes intimidated to go to that person, because I'm like, oh, they're not going to want to talk to me. But then you find out, wait a minute, we have so much in common that we wind up having this, good friendship. And so you befriend somebody who's at the next level. Thus, you grow, so you're growing, and so you become that problem solver. And so, but yeah, you're right. Yeah. People got to come with a plan.
It's so crazy you say that, right? Because a lot of people are nervous about somebody that person may not view them as being in their environment or their circle, right? I was a flight attendant for 12 years for United Airlines, right?
You were?
Yeah, I was.
Oh, cool.
And I learned a lot about humans and human nature and culture, but I also learned a lot about myself doing that, right? And you name the famous person, CEO, a political figure, I probably had them on my flight, right?
Right.
So being starstruck, I got over that a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
And this is why. Because after you meet them, you really understand that they're no different than you. They have the same problems, same issues, same insecurities. They just happen to be in a magical box every week or every month, every year. And so we see these people. The perspective that we see these people is so much different. And if we had professional makeup artists, photographers, and people writing the lines that we'd look smart too.
We look all that. So, it's so funny. I was able to interview Lou Ferrigno about 3 years ago with some other bloggers. And my blog, by the way, this August is only 3 years old. It's grown that fast in popularity. But back 3 years ago, Comic Palooza came into town, and a friend of mine who was running their social media asked if we could interview them. And so I had never interviewed anyone. So my first person to interview was Lou Ferrigno. So I was like, the Incredible Hulk. And so I was thinking, what kind of questions can I ask that are going to be so different that he's never been asked before? That's where I was taking it. So everybody's asking him about working out and weights and routine and this and that. So we came to my turn. I'm like, okay, bitchy business briefs, Lou Ferrigno. I said, Lou, what's next to your nightstand before you go to bed? And what do you do before you go to bed? And he's like, I've never been asked that. I'm like, yes. Okay, so never been asked that. So here's what he told us, and I wrote about it. He said he likes to flip through gun magazines right before he goes to bed. And look, he likes guns. And he's also with the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department.
Yeah, I did know that. I recently seen him.
So, and I'm like, so what's on your nightstand? He's like, some flowers my wife put there. And I don't know. He's like, just some shit. He was so funny because
and a 9mm.
It's a 9mm, right? But it's so funny because I've never been asked that question. So
wow. Yeah. I'd ask him, how long did it take to put that green paint on?
Oh yeah, right. Totally no, we didn't ask him.
So we got number one, right? Number one.
Yeah. Number one was what? Perceive?
Yes.
Yeah, become aware.
Now let me ask you really quick before we go to the next one. Perceive. Do you mean, is it too how people perceive you and how you perceive others perceiving you, or just perceive?
These are your words for you. So you have to, I'm just going to straight out read it. You have to know exactly what excites the crap out of you. So you have to know that, and you have to exactly know the perception of what you're going after. Most people don't really know what they want. We have an idea.
That's so crazy to me. That's such a crazy thought, but it's true.
It's your why. That's
Yeah.
basically what it is. Yeah. That's so true. And then understand is the next one, because we always want to understand. What is it? The person who's spiraling down can pick themselves up out of a black hole, because we want to understand what is it that they did. Well, you have to understand what is it that you're doing to pick yourself up, because all of us have stuff going on in our personal lives that we don't share on social media. I know that for a fact, because that's just the human landscape that we deal with. But how is it that we're picking ourselves out of that, and so you have to understand who you are. And I'm going to really take this out there. When somebody's like, their customers, sometimes the customer doesn't even know who they are. And you're trying to help them with their problem, but they don't even know what the hell they want, because they don't know who they are as an individual.
Right.
It's really, you can get into the psychology of that. I mean, it's really deep on that one. So yes, both of that, perceive and understanding. You want to go to the third one, or you want to?
No, I want to stick on that one. Understand,
Okay.
Stephen Covey said, "Seek first to understand before being understood."
Absolutely.
That is so easy to say. It's one of those things that, like, wow, that catch. Yeah, I can do. It's so hard, especially when you're in a debate and emotions get in. They say emotions emotions go up, intelligence go down. That is so true, because you even see it with smart people on, when they're debating about something that they're so passionate about that they miss the obvious. Here, every employee, before they get hired, I show them this video. It's called it's an awareness test, right? And what it is, it has two people. It has two groups of four. One that's wearing white jerseys, and another one wearing black jersey, and they pass this basketball, right? And I tell everybody, all you have to do is focus on the people in the white and how many passes do they make to the people to one another. That's it. Count those.
Okay.
So they focus on those, and it's 13. Right. And then at the end of it, I go, hey, but did you see the moonwalking bear across the screen? And everybody's like, no. And I go, now just watch the video and don't focus on the people in white. And then you see the moonwalking bear. And he's like, you see how obvious that was and how you missed it? That's exactly what happens when people choose to not understand, like, where am I coming from with this idea? Because I believe that it's less about what you did and more about what you didn't do in life.
Oh, like absolutely.
You didn't say I'm sorry. You didn't you didn't just do what you were supposed to do. You didn't take action. So that's why you broke.
And it's so funny. I know myself so well, because I am a pain in the ass. I can be. I'll say it. But I'm also very kind, and I'm very accountability. If I tell you I'm going to be there, I'll be there, unless I'm dead, dying, or fixing to die, like my friend says from New Orleans. So, and I apologize on the daily to my family. But at least they know what kind of person they're dealing with versus someone who's, I just don't like, I'd rather have somebody be really truthful, a little bit raw on the side, but I know what I'm getting versus blowing smoke up my dress and you're like, no. So yes, at the end of the day, you have to understand who you are, and that's just how I'm wired. And that's what makes Misfits so necessary. That's one of my tattoos on the back. Actually, that's going to be a title of a book, is Misfits Are Necessary. It took me forever. It took, short. I'm sure you can get that. You have to understand. You have to. If you don't.
This is what I love history, right? That's no secret.
Yeah.
For people who know me, I love history. And if you look throughout history, we say misfits, and what we think is, we're doing something different. If you look throughout history,
it's already been done.
Everything. Hey, Ben Franklin said everything under the sun has already been done.
It's already been done.
There's nothing original.
No, Shakespeare said that too, and you're not for every market. I think he said that in 1624. But I mean, no, everything has already been done. So when someone comes up to you and they're like, hey, Randall, I have this idea, but you can't tell anybody. And you're like, oh, shit, I already know it. And then they tell you the idea and you're like, dude, that's already been done. But,
people crack me up with that. They come to me all the time. It's like, I can't tell you. It's like, somebody might steal it. Like, hold on a minute. You only wish that Google was doing what you're doing, because if they did, then they would spend all the money to educate the whole population about it, because you can't afford it.
Right. Well, what makes it different though is how you do it in your style, in your personality, in who you are.
Right.
That's what will make it different. So what I do, somebody else has done. Someone else is doing what I'm doing. I'm just doing it for how I do it. You know, there's only one me in this world. There's only one you in this world. So that's what makes it special.
You know, you're right on. You know, like you said, everything's been done, right? But people love doing business with people. People love connecting. I mean, you're friends for a reason, right? With other people, because it's just,
Sure.
When we think about businesses, like businesses are just people. Like when we say, I don't, you know, that business is just, you know, corporate America or something, like, hold on a minute. It's people, right? You know, there's people and they have families, and every generation just has a new person that they like because the other one's dead. So I want to like somebody who's actually alive, and that person who's spitting out that same knowledge that the person did before. And then that person that did that did it before. Right. And it's like you go all the way back to, you know, the beginning of time. And whoever you feel like the first person was that actually said those words.
Right, because it's already been said. Now, there's a few things that haven't been done. You know, there's certain things, you know, space technology and stuff like that. But in general, yeah, everything has already been done. So for those of you who are thinking, oh, I got to go get a patent on this, you know, copywriting, like, you know, in your book, like in my book, or any author who has a book, we have this, you know, copyright, you know, you can't copy this book without the permission of the author. That's bullshit, because it's not, somebody can go to the old school library on a Xerox machine and Xerox copy my book, and I can't stop that. That could be happening in North Carolina. So it doesn't really stop somebody from doing something because you put a copyright on it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't even care. I hope people do it. I mean, I wrote my book so people would. So go ahead, copy it.
Well, you know what? The other day I put in a browser bar, hashtag middle finger happiness. And that's how I know that has gone viral. Some guy in Greece done a website with all my quotes. And it's all in Greek. And I'm like, there's bitchy business, but he's giving me the credit, but it's all in a language I can't even read. And I thought, well, good for him. Good, cool, I guess. You know, what can I do about that? Nothing.
Right.
Not
Nothing. Really. Who cares?
Like,
man, I could only hope. So that's number 2.
Number 3 was action. So we all know that was coming, because action is, you know, that's the most important word right there. You have to take massive strides in what you're going to do. And is it scary? Absolutely. Are you going to be unsure? Of course you are. Nothing, you know, you've got to do it. You've got to go out there and fall and stumble and get back up. It's just the molding process of solidifying your new project, you know. Right. And the cool thing is, like I learned from Austin Kleon, progress is messy. And so people who follow me will see, for the last 3 years, I've been dumping content, and it was shitty in the beginning. I went back to some of my old stuff. I'm like, I wouldn't even follow me. You know, I wouldn't even read that. It's that bad. But I kept going, and I kept going, and I kept going. And so what people see now is all the action I took back then to get where I'm at. Right. So does that make sense?
No, it does. You know, I'm glad you said that, because there is a disease that's going around that needs to stop, and it's called perfectionism.
Oh yeah.
And it's a disease that keeps people from doing the one thing that matters, and that's like what we're talking about, and that's taking action, because it has to be perfect. And first off, ain't nothing perfect ever going to be perfect. Now, I understand that people want to do things where, you know, at least they're palatable. But doing nothing is worse. I mean, it's like knowing how to read but never reading a book. You're no smarter than the illiterate.
Speaking of books, oh my God! So the first 200 books that were sold, there were like 15 typos in that book. So I'm like, oh my God! And they were bad. So they've all been fixed, and the book's been actually updated inside. And so for the first 200 people that bought my book, oh well, you know, I mean, it's there. It's, you know, it's not perfect, but I did it, you know. And so when somebody says, you know, oh, I want to write a book, well, then write it. It shouldn't really take that long. I'm considering doing a workshop or a webinar on it, although, you know, damn it, it's in YouTube. Everything you want to know is in YouTube. it.
Please,
everything.
Tell me about it.
You want to know how to,
I write articles on LinkedIn.
Yes.
And there's about 6 people every time I publish an article that write me and tell me all the grammatical errors and I didn't use there properly, or it was, which usually do a pretty good job, but it's not, Y-O-U-R, it's Y-O-U apostrophe R-E, it's U-R. And I get, and then I go and I look at all of their profiles and I say the exact same thing back because they don't write anything, but they just like to judge other people who are.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm like, why don't you? And I write them back and I said, hey, why don't you write something so I can give you 100 on yours and grade yours?
Gosh, I don't even respond because it's like I get this. I tell
them, hey, look, I appreciate them doing that because that's free.
Well,
I just got a free editor.
They're reading your stuff. That means they're interested. So
I appreciate them doing it. Like, hey, if it's bad, then tell me. So now it's fixed, and I got somebody to do it for free.
Oh yeah. One of the things that keeps me super grounded, and I learned this from Steve Martinez because he's like, I always look at the bad first before I look at the positive. So I was like, is that being negative? No, it's just to let you get ready for the blow, because as well as I, whenever you put yourself out in public on social media, whether you're talking to an audience or even just a small group, you're putting yourself out there. So I'm always expecting that constructive criticism. And occasionally I'll get a crazy person who just wants to chew me a new asshole for I don't know what. I just delete them or block them. But in the majority of it, when you do have that one person that has a little bit of riff, it's entertaining. To me, it's almost like it's funny and it's entertaining for me. So I'm like,
You know what? You'll know when you're reaching enough people because you'll find a crazy one, because there's a crazy about every 100 people.
Yeah.
So you can judge how. People who want to, owning a business, and we have a subscription-based business, right? Me and my business partners, and it relied heavily on reviews. And, we'd have hundreds and hundreds of reviews. And, our marketing department in that business, always get touchy when one person would complain and be like, what broke? I was like, dude, that's just that one crazy person. And then we would have, we'd speak at conferences and people would talk about, well, we have 0 complaints. I'm like, you know what? You know why you have 0 complaints?
Yeah.
It's because you haven't done enough business. That's
right.
all. So I know your business is not very big, because if you have 0 complaints, it's just not, you're going to have issues. But this is what the thing is when it comes to that I think when someone looks at a review, they're not necessarily saying, okay, they have no negatives. What they're looking for is, if someone did have an issue, did you fix it?
Yes.
And if you fixed it, then they're fine. Yeah. They know, hey, it's only logical to think that there are issues that come up. All I want to know is if it comes up, can it be fixed?
Did it get fixed? So again, that falls into the word perfection that you said. Yeah, and it falls into, what are people going to think about me? You know what? We're all screwed up. We are broken people working. Like, I have this little quotable there. It's like a carnival up here, and a couple of rides have broken lights, but the ride still works. Damn it. The lights might be broken, but the ride still works. So, everybody's got, you can't be perfect. You can't make everybody happy.
Oh, yeah. Look, Tiger Woods has like 14 championships or something. He's like one of the greatest golfers in the world. And he hasn't won a major in like 10 years. But no one would say that it's been like 10 years. He almost won one the other day. I sound like I know everything about golf. I just happened to hear about it.
You just take the shortcuts. You take the cliff notes on everything, Randall.
No, it's a cliff note life.
Cliff notes.
But no one would say that he's not one of the greatest golfers in history. I mean, he's had bad games. He's made where he missed out on playing in tournaments.
Oh, absolutely. Because you put yourself out there. Just like, I was writing yesterday, and it's like, we go up to bat and you've got 3 strikes or 3 swings. Well, you don't stop at number 3. You've got that bat still in your hand. You still go out there, keep on swinging until you hit. You just can't stop. And so I think what happens too is people also compare themselves to other people. I quit doing that years ago, and I saw myself grow. I mean, a lot of people will do that. Well, she's got this, he's got that. You can't compare. You can't work. Just do your own thing, and guess what? Someone's going to notice, and some others are people. Remember Forrest Gump when he started running?
Oh yeah.
And he was just running, and all of a sudden, some other people started running with him. And more people start running with him. And they're asking him, why are you running? I don't know. I just feel like running. And he turns around and he's got all this huge group of people. Well, that's what will happen when you start doing your own thing.
Right. You know, so many times you know, people stifle their own growth with their, because they live in their head so much.
We do. Yeah, we all do. So, and we all judge. I talked about, your audience will appreciate this. When I was in San Antonio, I was speaking to a group Friday night, and I talked to them about, I call it the 12 by 12 by 12. You may have already heard it, but in 12 seconds from 12 feet away, there are 12 opinions about you. And I told them, everybody, you guys are doing it to me right now. I like her. I don't like her. I like him. I don't like him. Trustworthy, untrustworthy, accountable. Will they fix the problem? Will they screw up the problem? So we all have these 12 opinions of other humans from 12 feet away in 12 seconds. So that's the 12 by 12 by 12. And we still judge, just like before you buy the bananas at H-E-B or Randall's, you're going to pick it up and go, oh, this one's too bruised. I can't take this banana. I want the green one. So we judge like the fruit before we put it in our basket. We do the 12 by 12. And so when you're aware of that, but you also have this I don't care attitude because I know I'm giving you my best, that's where you become the game changer.
Right. You know, I interviewed a self-made millionaire guy a couple episodes back, and one of the things that we were talking about was that exact thing. He's like,
yeah,
you know, judging those, you know, yourself, and you know, being hard on like things that aren't even real. Like, you know, the fear of that people are going to reject your ideas, reject your thoughts, reject whatever it is. So you convince yourself to not even do these things.
Oh, that's true. And in my book, in fact, I write, and I think I will always write this way. And I'm surprised. I'm surprised you even called me. I don't know why, but I still write like nobody's going to read this shit. Enter. And I walk away and I go do what I got to do with my kid, the household, you know, I'm a mom as well. So I always write like nobody's going to read my stuff. And then I look back and there's like, you know, buildings are crumbling and it was like mayhem back there. But I still write to this day. I don't go back and check. And then I go back maybe a month later to see how many the blog post was, several of them, many of them were shared 100 times. So those are actually going to be in this next book because I figured that's a topic that somebody liked. It was shared 100 times. But when you don't concern yourself with what everyone's going to think and you just do it, you'll arrive. You'll arrive and you will help other people.
You know what? People should hope that it's like that because it makes for a better story because no one likes the story. No one likes this story. You know, kid, you know, had rich parent, gave them millions of dollars and they became successful and you could do it too. Like, that's not a good story.
No, the stories, that we're most embarrassed about are
you know who has a really good story and you should check it out?
Who's that?
Is Jewel. Do you know Jewel, the singer?
Yes, she lived in her car.
Well, no, she actually grew up on a homestead in Alaska, and then she left at 15, and she lived in Alaska by herself in the outback, on a homestead for a while, and then she tells a story about how she went out to San Diego and then lived in a car, and she was part of that story. A lot of people don't know because she talked about it on Ask Gary V show. Is that she was living in the car, and she had found happiness. And she got so popular. She honest to God, she said she found happiness, and she had finally found what made her happy. But she was so popular in the coffee shop that she sang at, or whatever it was. And people would stand outside and look through the mirror or through the window because they couldn't get everyone in. Wow. And you know, a producer in LA got wind of it, came down, and offered her $1 million signing, and she said no. Because she wanted it to be on her terms, because she knew if she accepted that money that she would give up her happiness, and it wasn't even worth it. It was a great story. So if people get a chance, she tells a story about people should want to write a better story, like writing a story like, you know, death in the family, homeless, you know, had no money, living under a bridge, wrote a book, and then they became, all the way up the chain. Like, that's the story that resonates with people. So people should look at these trials and all of those things as, hey, all I'm doing is writing a good story.
Well, you share if you've been through that shit. So middle finger happiness, that's what middle finger happiness is. And Steve, again, was the one who said, hey, I really like the book you wrote right now. When's your next one? I'm like, the next one. I just finished this one. He's like, no, people want to know about you. And I'm like, no, they don't. I have been through some crazy shit. And they're like, no, they want to know. I'm like, no, it's not pretty. No, but they want to know because guess what? Someone else. And I write in every book, the book is always written for one person. If I can just help that one person, I'm not looking for a New York best time seller. I'm not looking to be #1 on the charts. That does not appeal to me. I want that one person to send me a message, and I have them. I need to compile them and say, oh my God, I went through that, but even worse, this is what I went through. And I'm so glad someone expressed themselves. And I'm thinking, you need to write a book, but they don't want to, that's okay. But everybody has something.
Everyone has a story. I mean, if you've lived life long enough, it's just by default, you have a story.
Right.
It's just, do you want to remember your story?
Do you want to remember? And that's the problem. So when I write, it's just like I have to open up, I call them a pain file cabinet. Mm-hmm. So in my brain, I've got to go back there and relive it. But I don't really relive it anymore because I'm so much stronger mentally now, emotionally. I just go back there and like open up the file and go, oh shit, yeah, this happened. Let me write about it. And then when it's done, I close the file and literally stick it back in there and it's back there.
Right.
Does it ever go away? Not really. It doesn't ever go away, but it helps you to now where you are today, or to now, like my niece says, to now, where that experience, if it wasn't for that crap that we went through, you wouldn't be who you are, and you wouldn't be able to help the people that you can help.
All right. I mean, it's our life experiences that builds character. Andy Andrews, he wrote a bunch of books, and one of them was it was a traveler's gift, and it was these 7 principles in life, right? Mm-hmm. They were like gravity. You can believe in them or not, but you can get on the top of a building and not believe in gravity and jump off, and you're going to hit the ground because gravity is real. But so it was these principles, right? And he travels throughout history and he meets these famous people throughout history who teach him a lesson. Like he meets the first person he meets is Harry Truman, and he teaches him the buck stops with you. Everything in your life, from past to present to future, is you. You're responsible for it. It's you. Oh, you chose to marry that person. You chose to meet that person. You chose to do this. Once you can take responsibility, you can move forward. But if you always make excuses, play victimhood, and you give it to someone else, you're waiting for them to release you, which they're never going to do because they may never even know, right?
Oh, absolutely.
But the book inside he talks about is that in life, you're either in a crisis, headed to a crisis, or coming out of a crisis.
Oh, we're constantly in crisis.
Everyone.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So if we just understand that and say, I don't want less problems, ask for more wisdom to deal with the problems because they're gonna come.
Right. And also how much time to put forth in that particular battle, because you're like, sometimes it's not even worth the time to go into that argument where it's like, I don't even want to deal with it. I'm sorry, or whatever. Whoever, do you want to be right, or you just want to continue to go on? Because only a narcissist will never apologize. Only a narcissist will make you feel like you're the problem. And so when you're dealing with a person who's really normal, if anyone's normal,
right,
they will say, you know what, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Can we start over? I was an ass. I didn't mean that. I would rather have that kind of relationship than someone who always makes you feel like, well, maybe it's me. Maybe something is wrong with me. And so many people go through life like that, and then they snap one day, or sometimes they just go through life like that, and they never snap. And you're like, I can't, But like you said, you have to be responsible. So when things go wrong for me, I'm the first one. I blame myself. I'm the first one to say, okay, it's my fault. It is my fault. I take full responsibility for that. And that's powerful. It's really powerful to do that, because then you're like, okay, so how do I fix it?
It's everything in life is sent to you at the exact right moment, exactly when you need it. Now, whether you recognize why you need it, why you lean, it's like exercising patience. It's like, give me more patience. And it's like, I think it's a biblical story where it's like, I need more patience. Please give me more patience. And they, you're in the bank line and you're waiting. You get upset. You're in traffic. You get up and you get upset, and you're like, why aren't you giving me? He's like, well, I gave you 3 opportunities to exercise patience, right? You didn't take it. It's like everything comes at the right time when you need it.
Last night I went to bed thinking it was like, I wake up at 3 a.m. with I'll be sound asleep and something pops in my head. So I have a notebook. And I thought, wait a minute, why do I need to pray for patience? I like impatience. Impatience gets shit done. Sometimes it's like you make that decision. Being impatient is a good thing. Just like a car battery, you got negative and you got positive to make that car go. So yes, I always pray for patience or ask for patience, but then there's times where impatience will make you get to where you need to go faster to make a decision. So isn't that weird? I was thinking about that last night. We were talking about it. So sometimes we need both,
No, you do, especially if you're storytelling. If you're a storyteller, you can't give away the plot of the story in the first line, in the first scene. I mean, the plot, what's the high point in a story? It
has to be at the very end.
Yeah, the climax.
At the very end.
You got to exercise patience and not giving it to them early, because then it'll be a crappy story. And that is indicative of our own lives, right? We can. So sum them up for us again.
Somewhat. Let's see. The 3. Oh, cool. Okay, so you've got understand. Oh no. Where's the first one? Come on, Sharon. Oh yeah.
Too much coffee. Too much coffee.
This is my 3rd cup. Perceive, which is the meaning to become aware. You talked about that, being self-aware. Perceive, understand, and then action. And those are the 3 things that will change what you need to change. Those are the 3 things that will get you what you want. And so if you don't have those 3 words, is again perceive, understand, and action. And to me, I think action is probably the most important. Again, I keep going back to just Friday because I spoke Friday. This most recent speaking engagement I had. So many women and a couple of men came up to me and, I want to do this, I want to do that. Well, what have you taken any action? No. Why not? Well, I don't know. Okay. Right. Well, until you take action, it's just fluff. It's just, make mistakes, fail forward, fail smarter. If you don't make mistakes, you're not doing anything. Nothing's perfect. And I think that's why people want to hear that real story. And so that's how I call it, what is it? SBST, small batch storytelling. That's what I'm known for. Because even for me, if it's too long to write, it's too long to read. So.
Right. Well, we're coming up to the end here, but I wanted to give you the opportunity.
Sharon Lee Zapata. You can also just Google my name. I Googled myself the other day, which is weird. And it was like, oh my God, all this stuff came up. Medium. I just got onto Medium. I say just about 2 years ago, but I just started writing a year ago. And now I'm paid on Medium. There's a program. So I actually get paid for writing with them now. That's a great platform. So the little book of startup inspiration, 20 lessons learned the hard way. Damn it. I don't know if anybody can see it. This is the book cover. And this is the gloss. It's now matte, which looks like rubber. This was the author copy. That's on Amazon. It's doing very well. Middle Finger Happiness is going to be coming. We've had it for August. Looks like it's the 2nd week of September. And so what is Middle Finger Happiness? This is inside the book. Ready? It's whatever the fuck you want it to be, as long as it creates better quality of life and a positive growth. So we've all said that. F this, I'm going to go make this happen. I'm going to leave this job. I'm going to start this business. I'm going to leave this relationship. I'm going to start exercising. And so we've all had middle finger happiness moments. And so I'm so excited about that particular book. And there's another one coming out for Christmas, but it's going to be a funny anti-inspirational book. I won't spill the beans on it, but it's going to be a Christmas book.
Oh, well, cool. Well, I think if people, follow you, keep up with you, and interact with you, that they can find out when that's coming out. Hey, again, Sharon, I thank you so much for taking your morning and letting me interview you and the audience here and there. Always tell the audience, listen to this. You always have the option to re-listen to it. My hope that when someone listens to any interview that I ever do, that they just get one little nugget, either whether it's a confirmation of what they already know, or maybe something new, or that they're on the right track. And if we end this with that, then that's a good interview. So again, I want to thank you for taking the time.
You're
Thank
welcome.
everybody for coming on. Hey, for everybody who's not, if you're not already following me on Facebook, Think Like a Marketer Show, go ahead and do that. Next week we're having Brian Fanzo on. If you don't know, look up Brian Fanzo. He's the creator of iFanzo. He's a highly sought after speaker, speaking all over the world about treating your customers like fans. So it's going to be a really good topic next week. I look forward to interviewing him. You can follow me on Think Like a Marketer Show on Facebook, YouTube, and you can follow me personally at Randall Chestnut. That's 2 T's at the end, no T in the middle. I always say little in the middle, but I got much back. And hey, and hope everybody has a wonderful Wednesday. And thanks again, Sharon.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it. Have a great morning.
Bye.